Okay, so now let's work on the ground smoke. So I'll turn off the main simulation for now. And you can copy the NS force field, call it NS ground smoke, drop it in, reset to 0, Control E to edit. And basically we can just disable temperature. For the spawn rate, let's do 100 particles, and shape location, set that to ring/disk and give it a radius of 1000. So we're basically just spawning the particles on a flat disk that we want to be sitting on the ground. I will increase the disk coverage all the way to 1 so that they're being born everywhere, not just on the edges. So we're getting this right now. You can move the sim. Basically the particles have too much velocity right now and the smoke is rising too much. Just as a side note, this is a pretty cool smoke effect in its own right, I think. So definitely something to experiment with for maybe volumetric fog and stuff like that. But for us, we can just turn off the velocity module. Probably getting too much smoke, so density just 0.25. Emitter summary, I will do 1500 on the X and maybe 300 on the Z. Resolution 300 should be enough. 10 pressure solve iterations. We said we wanted to be heavier and stick to the ground, so density buoyancy -2. Okay, so that's starting to look much more subtle, kind of like what I'm going for. I think the smoke could last a longer time. So dissipation rate, density, let's do just 0.1. Turbulence, let's just do 250 and 200. Okay, we're almost there. I think the wind could be stronger. So forces, wind magnitude, let's do 400. Let's see where it's sitting on the ground. I think it's colliding with the ground, which is killing a bunch of the smoke. So make sure the grid is sitting perfectly on the ground like this. Okay, this is not bad. Basically, if you want the trails to be longer, you can just increase the lifetime of the particles. So you can do maybe 0.75 to 1.25. I will enable the main simulation again, look at it all together. And since we can't really see what's going on this side, we can just move it toward the camera like this. And if we look at it through our camera view, we have something like this. I think maybe the wind is a little touch strong, so final tweak, I will lower the wind magnitude 300. Awesome. Maybe increase the turbulence a bit more if you would like. I will let you play around with the settings. You already know how those work. But I think if I put my camera about here, this will be my final result. So as always, what I did in the trailer, just set a few keyframes for the camera movement. Maybe you can kind of move forward a little bit, rotate the camera a little bit, select both keys, 4 to make them linear, and you get something like this. So because we are running 2 simulations at the same time, it might get much slower for you, or sometimes the simulations just down res themselves. So later in the course, when we do the fire attack, I will show you how to cache the simulations. But for now, this will be our final result for the force field. Hope that you learned a lot as always, and I will see you in the next video for another example.